that time of year now where the water starts to warm up, weeds start emerging, things like that, and you know, a lot of places can deal with that no problem at all. There's a lot of well-managed, well-run venues all over the country who obviously either allow for that and sort things out in the winter, which are going to dramatically help, whether it be if you need aeration systems or if you need dye, etc. You know, if you think you need that sort of thing, that's fine. But a lot of what we see is in the spring, when a club or a fishery loses fish, their first reaction is to put more fish in, and we've seen that happen, and people want to do that even in the warmer months. They're like paranoid. They think, I've lost fish, I'll put more in. And honestly, I don't think that's I think that's the last thing you should even consider doing. I think in the winter you should be obviously managing your fisheries, sorting out your stocks, having a look at what's going on, and you can get a lot from that. I mean, we always preach to do that. We do it ourselves on all our waters. We don't let a winter go by where we want to know what's in them. It's all very well having a 100-acre natural, you know, basically a nature reserve where there's fishing. That's fine, totally different environment. But on a commercial or on a managed still water, you can prevent an awful lot of problems by actually working in the winter. Where there's no anglers around, it's cold, you can move the fish around safely, and there's an awful lot you can do in the colder months that will save you time and certainly save you fish in the summer months. If you get to this stage and you're losing fish, don't think I need to put more in, freshen up, stock, all this sort of nonsense, because that's not going to help your situation. If you're losing fish, there's a reason, and although, you know, you hear reports about people blaming algae and people blaming this, that and the other, quite often there's underlying factors. That's secondary. Why the fish are dying from that is stress is a main contributing factor. So it's all about trying to minimise stress, and the worst thing you can do is consider putting more fish in. The trouble is, a lot of clubs, they're under pressure by anglers. Anglers will go, oh, the fish are all dying, we need to restock, otherwise we won't fish it anymore. But honestly, you need to address the problems. There's a lot of clubs who have lost a lot of fish, up to half their stock and more, and sometimes it's been KHV, but a lot of the time it isn't. We still see more mortality from just stress and poor management, other than disease, viral infection. So bear that in mind. It's you know, and also if a club water suffers a fish kill, especially not just on big carp lakes, but across the board, whatever sort of fishery it is, if they suffer a fish kill and don't put any fish in, what you tend to find is it fishes its head off, which is, to us, is common sense, because you basically, if the stock's quite high anyway and they're under pressure, and there's a high oxygen demand, things like that, suddenly it goes bang and you lose half the stock or more. The fish that are remaining, and it's horrible, it's heartbreaking to see any fish mortality at all. We never wish it on anyone, but at the end of the day, it's something you have to deal with. And by not stocking more fish, you find that throughout the rest of the summer, normally the lake fishes really well and the fish respond, and you should learn from that, because you think, well, hang on a minute, it's fishing really well with a lot less fishing. And that we try and get that across to people. You know, I go to places where people want to dig a lake and they say, right, well, we've budgeted 50 grand to dig a few acres of lake, and we've budgeted 50 grand for fish. And I'm like, well, hang on, what's the point? You know, if you're digging a brand new environment, an empty lake, whatever you put in that to start with is going to flourish, it's going to do really well, it's going to grow and breed. You know, you can chuck fish in there, get it planted up, chuck some food at them, you've got all that space, they're going to fill into that, so you don't need loads of fish to start a new pond and a new fishery. That's how we started an awful lot of ours, just with a small amount of fish. Predation's a key, obviously, but don't think it's all about having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fish the whole time, because it really isn't. It's about getting to grips and learning and understanding, especially this time of year, as things start to get really, really delicate. We start to get an awful lot of calls from people worried about their fish who haven't done anything in the winter, which is frustrating, but obviously we help those people as much as we would anyone. But yeah, it's very frustrating when they could have done an awful lot of work in the winter, which will prevent problems in the summer. So yeah, try not to have knee-jerk reactions and go out thinking, oh, we've just lost some fish, we need to buy some more, because you need to get to a point where sometimes you do have to sort of bite your lip with the anglers a bit and sort of say, well, look, we're not going to buy any more fish, we need to get to the bottom of the problem, of which there are a number of problems which most people tend to have at this time of year. But it's just worth bearing that in mind as the water temperature increases.